I'm here today with David Guyatt and Rupert Hutton, CEO and CFO respectively of cybersecurity software company Osirium, to discuss the company's FY19 results. Welcome, David and Rupert. First question, could you talk us through the highlights of your full year results?
Oh, well, Catherine, yes, goodness me. This COVID-19 crisis really has helped push 2019 to the back of one's minds. And yet for Osirium, it was a hugely important year. Without doubt, we have never been in a stronger position. And just as a reminder for our listeners, Osirium is a cybersecurity company operating in the high-growth PAM sector, and we provide a critical layer of IT security which protects data infrastructure and assets in the cloud and throughout the enterprise as well. PAM is one of the top security priorities for organizations right now, even especially so. And never a day goes by without another corporate casualty hitting the news. And nearly all breaches succeed because somewhere in the attack chain, these privileged accounts are being compromised, which open up unfettered pathways to all those vulnerable but valuable business assets. And returning to some of our other key achievements for the year, we continue to expand our world-class customer base. We span sectors such as finance, telecoms, retail, insurance, the NHS. I mean, the list goes on. With such a prolific array of high-class customers, we're rightly proud to announce that we've had a 100% client retention rate throughout the whole year, which again, I think demonstrates the wholehearted endorsement from our customers. And so from our sales statistics point of view, we can confidently state that once our customers buy into our vision, they almost always stay.
And Rupert, could you give us some more detail on the financial results?
Yeah, 2019 was a good year for us. Total bookings is how we measure the company's key performance, and that's our main key performance indicator, and that increased 54% in year. We managed to add 12 new customers, which gives us a bigger customer base to be able to land and expand, which is our key philosophy on growing our bookings. Just for people who don't know, we recognise our SaaS revenue in equal annual instalments over the length of the contract. And so revenues grew very nicely at 22%, and we're expecting that trend to continue and accelerate. But what gives us great confidence on that is our deferred revenue went up to 1.37 million at December 2019, up from 0.73 million in 2018. Net loss for the year of 2.8 million, up from 2.3 million in 2018, was in line with the board's expectations. We continue to be loss-making as we invest in the business, and the key area of the business for us is research and development. Last year, we were able to strengthen all of our teams, including sales, marketing, and engineering, and we've now got the teams up to critical mass and full strength as we came into 2020. The fundraise just before Christmas meant that at the year end we had 3.9 million cash at bank, which we'll use to fund our activities during 2020.
And what were the key contract wins in the year?
There's a number of highlights in the year for us. We had our largest customer renewed, but they not only renewed for 1 year, but a 3-year contract, and that was a major bank. We had further NHS orders, and we seem to have gained traction, and we've had a couple of contract wins we've announced already in 2020. Our first North American client was in 2019. And we've also been able to expand further into, with some educational orders at UK universities. But we're finding that our new customers are willing to renew for 3 years as well, which is good. But often we find that a customer will buy for a year or two and then possibly transfer to a 3-year contract, depending what budgets they have available. But the 12 new customers, we also landed a very nice new customer in February. And again, that was announced in February, but we also announced a significant contract win later in the year when that same customer greatly expanded not only the number of licenses they were willing to buy, but also commit to us for a further 3 years, which was an MSSP. So yeah, we've extended in all sectors.
And could you give us an update on your product roadmap?
Yes, certainly, Catherine. Innovation, well, persistent innovation in our security technologies has always been one of our cornerstone themes. And so we were thrilled to launch 2 new products, significantly enhancing our addressable market, actually, and the complete value proposition as well. So being as it is a key theme for us as a company, we continue to pursue meaningful capabilities really that make up a huge difference when we engage our customers. And high availability PAM was one of those innovations that we invested in. Osirium's core PAM solution has always provided some high availability capability, but in April we announced our version 7 release, which introduced an almost unbelievable range of additional high availability features, which we're currently calling clustering, which enables customers to group multiple PAM servers into a manageable unit so that if one server becomes unavailable, alternative services immediately become ready to step up and stand in so that the user can continue to work with little or no interruption to operations. So once again, we're breaking new ground, and actually not for the first time. We announced this innovation in the full confidence that we are the only PAM vendor to include unlimited clustering as part of its standard license deployment. Another product launch point was our privileged endpoint management product, or PEM for short. We launched that, and our most recent release adds even more usability features to help cement the numerous POCs, and by that I mean proof of concepts, that we have currently underway with quite a number of prospects in our list. Thirdly, our privileged process automation product, or PPA for short. We launched that, and put simply, we hand over complex, complicated and error-strewn IT tasks to software robots, who then go about completing those tasks in a fraction of the time without human errors, and ultimately without breaking any security principles that are part of the company's security DNA. So in effect, we're actually reducing the cybersecurity attack surface still further, which of course is a win-win for all organizations, because we've provided really what is a powerful productivity and security story for our customers and prospects. And as regards the rest of this year in terms of roadmap, well, our product innovation investment applies to all our products, so that will continue throughout this year, mainly focusing on delivering even easier to deploy and simpler to use privileged security products.
That leads us nicely on to the question of competition. Could you talk us through the competitive environment?
And the current market landscape, certainly. I mean, as regards that, first of all, we operate, Osirium does, in the privileged access management market, which is one of the fastest growing sectors in the cybersecurity world. The tech analysts expect this market to reach at least $2.5 billion by 2023. And clearly, as this market has evolved, it's become no longer a niche requirement. It's a mainstream and must-have. And actually, it's an indispensable security layer these days. Needed in all businesses. It's a horizontal application, regardless of whether their IT investment is in the cloud, on-premise, or a hybridized mix of both. So the competitive landscape right now is characterized by a few large US-based vendors and several smaller niche players from outside the US. There certainly have been some notable consolidation activities over the past 2 years, which can only reinforce just how valuable the investment opportunity is for this PAM market. We believe that Osirium is the fastest growing PAM vendor in Europe, and we think we're well placed to be the default mid-market solution because we're best suited for channel partnerships. I mean, we have some unique differentiators that help our partners provide real competitive advantages, which will ultimately drive scalability in our growth and earnings too.
And finally, could you update us on current trading, particularly in the light of COVID-19, and give us your views on the company's outlook on both a short and medium-term basis?
Well, clearly, Catherine, it's a difficult time currently for businesses and families alike, wherever you happen to be in the world. And naturally, our principal focus has been the well-being of our staff and customers. And in a direct response to the pandemic, we've taken a number of actions to ensure that our staff are healthy, safe, and working from home. We've organised a range of activities and services, health and well-being webinars, for example, for our staff, as well as online recreational services. This has certainly helped our employers and allowed Osirium to continue to support our customers without any real compromise in our service levels or delivery timescales. But in terms of current trading in the short term, well, on a positive note, we entered the new year with our strongest pipeline to date, and we had a cracking start to Q1 with a record performance there, which was materially ahead of the previous year's quarter as well. However, while this lockdown remains in place, and despite a growing pipeline of prospects, it's impossible to predict how Q1 and the remainder of the year will evolve. The team are looking out for any signs of a slowing down in the momentum of our prospects' decision making, for example. And after all, just as we have changed priorities, some of our prospects and customers are likely to do so as well. In the meantime, we're limiting the cash flows from the business, but it remains hard to predict just how the remainder of this year is going to pan out. We maintain our current outlook at the present time, although uncertainty has been greatly increased recently, so we'll continue to monitor the situation. And in the longer term, well, the business imperatives of IT security and the threats that accompany that will ultimately return to drive demand again, because cyber security poses an ever-present threat and potent threats to organizations. Furthermore, in this new normal world, our software and services are deployable remotely. So a SaaS model actually fits in very comfortably with our long-term contracts, as well as having an impressively diversified customer base across multiple sectors. And of course, we have absolute confidence in our built-for-purpose product portfolio, and of course, the huge market opportunity that we're aimed at as well.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you both for joining me today and for the update on the business.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. It was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you for your time.